Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to the next video in Crushing E-commerce. My name is Travis Patel, and in this video I want to talk about the metrics of success with your advertisement. We went in the last video, we checked out the reporting. We want to see the numbers of what's happening so you can kind of see the general basis of what's going on. You see exactly who's liking, sharing, clicking through, all that type of stuff. And when we're running our ads in our round one test run, we really want to pay attention to what's going on so we know how to adjust in the next module. We're adjusting all over the place too. We want to see not only how the ads are reacting, but how is the audience reacting to the product, what's going on in our sales funnel from the traffic, all these little things we want to pay attention to. So when it comes to ads and our round one advertisement, we really have a few metrics that we really want to pay attention to, and those are going to determine kind of what's going on and what to do the next step. Because really when we're launching lots of products, launching lots of ads, you can only do so much diving deep. So you want to kind of create your metric standard so that you hit a certain number, you know to bump up your budget the next day. If you don't hit that certain number, you know to either test more or to trash the campaign altogether. So these are metrics you really want to pay attention to so you know if you're having success early on, or you know what moves need to be made. So first off, our most important metric always is going to be ROI, return on investment. Are you making more money than you're spending? Now, depending on your sales funnel and what you've got going on, this can be determined different ways. If we're doing a t-shirt Teespring campaign where we just launched a brand new shirt, we're sending traffic and we're just expecting sales then, it's very straightforward. If we spent $10, did we make $1? Did we make 11? That's what we want to do. You want to at least make $1 back from every dollar you spend is really the goal here. And with the straight up sales process, that's a very simple metric to look at. Now, if you have a long-term sales funnel where you're actually sending people into an email list and then they're not buying till like day 15 to 20, but then they're a positive ROI, that's something to look at too, is you got to look at your whole funnel. So it really depends on how you have it set up. But for now, when it's straight up ads, straight up testing, we're looking at the ROI. Did we make money on that ad? Now, if we're not making money, we typically want to shut that ad off after the first $20, $30 ad spend. But we definitely want to look at the other metrics before making this final decision, because there's lots of other things that are determining what's going on. It might be just a little small problem with your ad or a small problem with your product or your copy that just needs to be changed, and you can have a different result. So after ROI, if it's just bombing and none of the stats are working out, obviously shut that sucker down. But if you're breaking even or you're slightly up on your return on investment, then what you want to do is you want to start looking at the other metrics. Now, secondly, I like to look at my click-through rating. How many people are actually making it to the sales page? Now, I find this very important because we have a few things going on in our long-term system. First off, they need to get the sales page because know that they're not clicking the link and getting to that sales page, then they're not going to have any chance of buying. It doesn't matter if they're interacting with your post or your fan page or your picture or whatever it is. If they're not getting the sales page, you have no chance of making a sale. So that is my second most important metric, is really the click-through rating, how many people are actually getting through. And we like to see a good click-through rating of at least about 7-8% is where usually our low is as far as a good campaign. You will have some metrics that happen where you have really low one number, but the ROI is still killing it. So with those, like we said, ROI is important, the most important, so follow that. But we like to have at least a minimum 7-8% click-through rating. This gets people actually to the website. We know they're there. Secondly, this creates our custom audience, because we have custom audience we build for anyone who actually visits the sales page. And this is our long-term advertising strategy when we do retargeting, as you'll see later in this course as well. But that's why we like to look at click-through rating. We need people actually making it to the website, to the sales page, and get away from the social media ad we have going. So click-through rating is our second most important piece of the puzzle. Next off, we really like to look at the comments and the shares. Is the post getting engagement? Is it getting passed around? One of the great things about Facebook and social media advertising is that viral effect it has. You get people sharing and liking and commenting, and all their friends see it, and their friends. And if you have a great campaign, a great product, then you can really get huge amounts of sales from just the viral traffic. Really, most of my sales in 2015 or 2014 were from viral effects with t-shirts. When we were doing a lot of t-shirt sales, it was all about the virality and getting people to like and share and show their friends who they think would buy it. And most of our purchases actually came from that. So we like to look at how many likes and shares and comments, not likes, but shares and comments are on there. Shares, you want to have after $20 ad spend, you want to have for a good, especially a t-shirt, we're looking at 50 to 100 shares we're trying to have with twice as many likes on that post. Now shares just kind of show the reach. So shares help expand that reach on that ad organically very well. That's why we like to really look at the shares. Now the comments are also very important because this gives us an idea of what's going on. If people are commenting things like, oh my gosh, I need this, or I love it, or this is so me, then that's a great ad. That's a great product you have in the market. You just need to fulfill that, make sure that it fits their criteria. So if these metrics give you an idea of what's going on, like I said. So if there's positive ROI, obviously you're making money, you have a good product. If you're not making money, if it's not a positive ROI, you're breaking even, but you're getting great click-through rating and you're getting great shares and great comments, then there's a few tweaks that maybe need to be made. Maybe you need to change your advertising interests. Maybe you need to change your targeting slightly so it's going to the right people. Then on the other hand, if you have things happening where people are really liking and sharing your posts, but there's no buying, there's no very viral activity beyond that, then they might not like the product itself, but they like the message behind it. This is very common with t-shirts where you have a phrase on a t-shirt that people might really love the phrase and the words that are said, but the design is ugly or something, or the shirt is horrible. And they're not going to buy it, but they will like and share it because it has that social media viral effect. So we're paying for that engagement, and all we'd have to do to change that type of ad campaign for success would make an adjustment on the product, change the design to be better, have the same words, but make it better. So these metrics are very important to follow and kind of determine where the success is actually coming from, how to adjust and go from there, as I'll talk about in the next module. So thanks guys, Travis Patel here. Hope you enjoyed this one. Talk to you soon.